A miracle in Myanmar, 125 hours after a devastating 7.9 magnitude earthquake, a man has been pulled alive from the rubble of a collapsed hotel in Mandalay. Rescued by a team of Chinese responders, the survivor was found on a lower floor of the Golden Country Hotel and is now in stable condition. The death toll has surpassed 2,800 with over 4,600 injured. This marks the 9th survivor recovered by Chinese teams. The search continues nearly a week after quake searches in neighboring Thailand, hunting for survivors, combed a mountain of debris left after a skyscraper in the capital Bangkok collapsed while under construction. Rescuers are using mechanical diggers and bulldozers to break up 100 tons of concrete to locate any still alive after the disaster that killed 15 people, with 72 still missing. NDTV is the only channel on ground in Bangkok covering the developments very closely. Let's go across to my colleague Vivek, who joins us right from Bangkok. He's been there since the past 6 days, getting us the latest updates. Vishal, what is the latest in the rescue operations and in terms of the authorities' assessment at this point?
Well, the search for the first live survivor continues here in Bangkok. It's been almost 7 days of the tragedy. The building collapsed on Friday. It's been almost 7 days, as I mentioned earlier. It's almost down to zero now. Almost no hope of surviving, finding anyone alive. Authorities had told me about 4 days ago that there was just 1% chance of survival. So it's almost zero now. And authorities are going ahead with breaking down the debris and trying to locate the bodies, because locating the bodies itself is a big task, because it was a 33-story building. It was a huge building. It collapsed, and to pull out the even dead bodies would be really difficult. So that will be a major task at hand for the authorities here. It's been almost 7 days. It will take some time, but authorities have told me they are willing to take as much as 7 days, as much as 2 months to get to the bodies, to retrieve the bodies, because they want the families of the victims to know that what was the state of their families. So all of that is there, but at the same time, on the other side of the border, Myanmar is bearing the brunt of the earthquake, because that is where the epicenter was, 7.7 magnitude, and it has so far killed more than 3,000 people. And miraculously, a lot of cases have been turning up where people have turned up alive, like the case of the man you mentioned earlier. He was pulled out alive after 5 days, and he's mostly unscathed. So it's sort of a miraculous thing in this whole upheaval. But so far, this magnitude has almost destroyed the second largest city of Myanmar, the Mandalay. It's a historical city. It's been almost flattened. That is what the satellite images show. The information. So the information is also quite scant coming in from there. So we'll give you the latest when we have them. Back to you.
All right, Vishal, thank you so much for getting us the latest. And on, again, a miraculous rescue operation, as you mentioned. Taiwan's defense ministry has reported a surge in Chinese military activity as Beijing concluded the 2 days of war games. In the past 24 hours, 59 Chinese warplanes and 23 Navy ships were detected near the island. 18 warplanes crossed the Taiwan Strait median line, further escalating tensions. China calls the drills a response to Taiwan President Lai Ching-te, whom Beijing considers as a separatist. The exercises have drawn concern from the US, Japan and the European Union, as well as the United Kingdom. Two Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has been arrested over allegations they received Qatari money to promote the Gulf states' image in Israel. The report suggests that longtime media consultant Jonathan Urich and former spokesman Eli Feldstein were involved in a PR campaign that portrayed Qatar positively while undermining Egypt, a key mediator in the Israel-Hamas ceasefire talks. Now, payments were allegedly funneled through an American lobbyist. Netanyahu, though not a suspect, has dismissed the case as a political attack. The scandal, dubbed Qatar Gate, comes as Netanyahu faces growing public pressure over his handling of the war in Gaza and internal security matters. Listen in to what the Israeli Prime Minister had to say.
מחזיקים את יונתן אוריך ואת אלי פלדשטיין פשוט מחזיקים אותם כבני ערובה, מרעירים להם את החיים, על כלום ושום דבר. זה ציד פוליטי, זה נועד רק למטרה אחת, למנוע את הפיטורים של ראש השב"כ, כאילו יש פה איזו פרשייה, אין פה שום דבר. וגם להביא להפלתו של ראש הממשלה מהימין. חקירה פוליטית, ציד פוליטי, זה מה שיש פה. אין פה שום דבר אחר.
The United States has imposed a 26% reciprocal tariff on India effective April 9. Citing non-tariff barriers that hinder American exports, President Donald Trump has said that the move is justified as India has long charged high tariffs on US goods. The White House claims this could unlock $5.3 billion in US exports annually. However, the decision has triggered global outrage. The European Union chief Ursula von der Leyen called it a major blow to the world economy. Meanwhile, China has threatened retaliation, and Australia Prime Minister Albanese said that this is not an act of a threat. Here's how world leaders are reacting. Take a look at this report.
As you said, Trump's reciprocal tariffs decision has indeed ruffled feathers worldwide as nations still are bracing for the economic storm that is yet to befall them. Upping the ante, we have the EU Commission's President Ursula von der Leyen first up, who has warned, in fact, that Europe will always protect its interests and values. In fact, it is also ready to engage with Washington to go from confrontation to negotiations. Next up, we have China's Ministry of Commerce that has also jumped right into the ring, Parmeshwar. It has announced resolute countermeasures, apart from urging Washington to, of course, immediately cancel its unilateral tariff measures. Now, from the land down under Australia, we have Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, and he's warned that it's the American people who will, in fact, pay the biggest price for these unjustified tariffs. It does not end there. In Spain, moving to Europe now, Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez stands firm, saying, we will promote and rather provoke our workers and remain committed to an open world. Meanwhile, that's not all we have from Europe. Swedish PM Ulf Kristersson has called for cooperation, declaring, we do not want to fuel a trade war, a growing trade barrier. We do not want a trade war. Meanwhile, in Switzerland, in neighboring Switzerland, President Karine Keller-Sutter promises swift action, emphasizing the nation's commitment to international law and even free trade. Meanwhile, Ireland's PM Michel Martin has decried the moves, stating that tariffs benefit no one, especially not the Irish workers. And in fact, in Colombia, Foreign Minister Laura Sarabia has added, we are evaluating how to protect our interests and exports. Now, as the world holds its breath, Parmeshwar, one thing is sure, these trade tariffs and the trade war, it's far from over. And well, as the dust settles, the writing seems on the wall. This is not just a trade dispute. It's in fact a powder keg waiting to blow. Back to you.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has arrived in Bangkok for the 6th Bimstec summit, where he will meet Thai Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra and King Maha Vajiralongkorn. The Indian diaspora in Thailand gave him a warm welcome, chanting Vande Mataram and expressing hopes for stronger India-Thailand ties. The Bimstec summit will focus largely on the regional prosperity, resilience and economic cooperation. This also marks the first in-person meeting of Bimstec leaders since 2018. After Thailand, PM Modi will head to Sri Lanka for the next leg of his diplomatic visit. My colleague Vishal Vivek spoke to the Indian diaspora. Listen in.
Prime Minister Modi is about to arrive. It's just about few minutes from now. We have with us here members of the Indian diaspora in Thailand. Let's go and speak with them and get to know how excited they are. Sir, can you tell your name, please?
Yeah, my name is Somen Bose, and I represent Bharati, the Bengali Association of Thailand. We are absolutely over the moon with our Honorable Prime Minister and Vishwaguru, Mr. Narendra Damodar Modi's arrival. We are really happy.
How long have these preparations going on, sir?
Oh, this has been going on since last 15 days. Each and every association was meticulously informed and told to nominate their best candidates. And then it was divided into airport, the lobby and the ballroom.
They have selected few people from their diaspora, and they have nominated for airport separately and for the lobby. And the heads of these associations are invited into the ballroom as a special guest.
And will you have some face-to-face conversations with the PM as well, or that's not planned?
In the lobby, I don't think it is possible because Prime Minister Ji will be walking
Are there
across.
any cultural events planned? I heard there was some Bhangra event planned or something like that.
No, in the ballroom, I heard that there's going to be some Ramakien, which is a Thai version of Ramayana, is going to be performed. And then probably Prime Minister will give a speech.
The death toll in Gaza has surpassed 50,000 with over 114,000 injured, according to local health authorities. Now, since March 18th, Israeli military operations have reportedly killed 1,066 people and injured 2,597. The Israeli military says it has targeted Hamas sites ahead of a offensive in southern Gaza. Meanwhile, Hamas claims Israel has rejected a ceasefire proposal. The humanitarian situation continues to worsen, with aid efforts struggling to reach those trapped under rubble. Russia and Ukraine have accused each other of attacking energy facilities despite a recent agreement to avoid such strikes. Moscow claims Ukraine targeted power infrastructure in the Kursk region, affecting 1,500 households. Kyiv, in return, reports that Russian drone and artillery attacks on power stations in Sumy and Dnipropetrovsk, leaving 4,000 without electricity. The Kremlin has said that President Putin is open to peace talks, but Ukraine shows no willingness to negotiate. South Korea is on high alert as Constitutional Court prepares to rule on President Yoon Suk Yeol's impeachment. More than 14,000 police officers have been deployed in Seoul with heavy security measures in place to prevent protests. If Yoon is reinstated, it will mark a dramatic political comeback. If removed, he will join a list of South Korean leaders ousted from power. The decision follows months of political turmoil after Yoon imposed martial law, triggering the country's worst crisis in decades. The Philippines has assured China that its potential purchase of 20 F-16 fighter jets from the United States is not intended as a threat to any nation. National Security Council spokesperson Jonathan Malaya has emphasized that the $5.58 billion deal is solely for military modernization. The announcement follows U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth's visit to Manila, where he reaffirmed Washington's commitment to its defense treaty with the Philippines amid growing tensions with China. The Pentagon has said that the aircraft would enhance the Philippines' territorial patrol capabilities and interoperability with U.S. forces. Journalists in Haiti are risking their lives to report on the country's worsening gang violence. With gangs controlling 85% of Port-au-Prince, reporters are dodging bullets and threats, even as media outlets are attacked and forced to shut down. Some journalists have fled, while others, like radio reporter Jean-Jacques Asperges, continue working despite losing everything, including his equipment and home. The situation has made Haiti the world's worst country for unsolved journalist killings, with 7 murders still unpunished since 2019.
De sorti un note pour me dire aucun journaliste pas le droit pour couvrir activité et qu'a fait par les gangs armés qui terroriser la population.
Plus grosse difficulté c'est qu'à circuler dans la capitale là, à faire reportage de des quartiers qui extrêmement compliqué pour nous aller là-dedans au moment. Donc ça vient fait que nous avons accès à l'information, bon accès avec premières données, premières informations, bon accès avec des contenus que nous presque pas gagner parce que nous pas aller dans pile quartier dans la capitale là, dans moment là qui est vraiment contrôlé par groupe criminel.